Tour junkies.
What's going on, golf addicts? DB here to break down the golf course for the PGA Championship Valhalla Golf Club in Louisville, Kentucky. Second major of the 2024 season. All the gangs back together, and here we go. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you a video of the golf course. We're going to talk about what we see, what we've noticed. I've done a lot of research on this course already. I've talked to people who have already been on scouting trips to Valhalla, and I'm going to show you that. We're going to look at a little bit of the weather ahead of time just to kind of get an understanding of what's going on. I'm going to talk about 2014 Valhalla when Rory won. Talk about some things that I've learned looking over the golf course, talking about the golf course with others. Then I'm going to share my screen with our friends at Bet the Number, take a look at the custom model that I've built, and talk through a few notable names on that list and give you a little bit of logic around some of my model inputs. All right, it's going to be a good show. I'm also going to be doing a giveaway. Here's all you got to do to get in the giveaway. We're going to thank our friends at Swannies. And Swannies is giving away $300 online gift cards, three $100 online gift cards to Tour Junkies followers. All you have to do to get involved is comment on any of our YouTube videos all week, okay? Any of them related to the PGA Championship. You can comment on all of them, and you get more chances to win. So drop a comment, what you like, what you don't like. Are you a Team DB guy? Are you a Team Pat guy? Why you even care about the Tour Junkies? Why you deserve the Swannies online $100 gift card that you can literally use on anything in the shop, including this awesome shirt. We do want to thank our friends at Swannies. They rock it every single week with us. Great sponsors, great golf clothing for men, for juniors, for ladies. They got you all covered. Code TJ25 if you don't win the money, if you don't win the gift card. Code TJ25 gets you 25% off your entire order on swannies.co. The link is in the description. It's an American-based, family-owned company shipping anywhere to the U.S. and Canada, okay? Now, if you're not in the U.S. and Canada, you could comment and be like, yo, I'm in Australia, mate. Well, can't you ship me some Swannies, my man? You know, you could do that. And that might work too. All right, let's start with this, okay? Bang. I'm going to play this video, and I'm going to talk through some things so you don't have to just look at my boring head, while I talk through it. But I studied this golf course, not just from this video, but from a lot of other things. And there's a few things you can definitely pick right up on, okay? So as I'm talking through this is a video on YouTube by WDRB News. Way to go. Like I said, Valhalla, par 71, 7,600 yards. You have three par fives on this golf course, all playing between 570 and 600. You have par threes playing between 190 and 250. And most notably on the par fours, 7 of the par fours will be between 460 and 508 yards. Big boy golf course. This is the Jack Nicklaus design. Got updated in 2014. Since 2014, it's been updated. It's moved to May. There's been Zoysia put in, Zoysia fairways. If you're not familiar, Zoysia is awesome. It's a thick, plush grass. Now, it doesn't tend to allow players to really get a lot of rollout off the tee. I think if you went back and watched, like I did, some of the 2014, you might see some rollout. I don't know that we're going to see that much rollout in the fairways here. 2014 notes. I went back and watched a lot of footage from 2014. It was actually pretty soft because they had some rain. There were some soft-ish fairways. And you'll notice watching this video, there's some tight grass, okay? There's some short grass around these greens, like you see here, as it falls off. But there's also some really thick, gnarly rough around these greens. I think for the most part, the greens are I think they're like 5,000 square foot on average, but they play pretty small. And based on some conversation I've had with people who have already been on site at Valhalla in the last 10 days, they said these landing areas are going to play even smaller. But yeah, they played small in 2014. Rory hit I was watching Rory's final round on Sunday. He hit driver 3-wood into the first two par fives. That's how soft it was on Sunday. Rory was. Okay. He had a ton of fairways on Sunday. He did miss a couple, but he hit a ton of fairways on Sunday with the driver and a handful of 3-woods throughout the day. That's something I think you're going to notice too. Now, obviously, it's wind and weather dependent, but some of these par fours and even a par five will demand guys to lay back a little bit off the tee because there's just too much trouble, too much risk involved. All right, let's talk about, just visually here. You see a lot of undulation. This golf course is not flat. I mean, the overall property may be flat, but there's a lot of contours to this course. As I was looking at the hole-by-hole flyover like you're looking at, as I was watching on 2014, there is some undulation. This is not a flat spot. There are certain holes, like I said, certain properties, but there's some undulation here. There's some slopes off these greens. There's some slopes in these fairways. There's some holes that dogleg left, but the fairway is it cambers? That sounds weird. It does one of the, it shoots it right, okay, on a dogleg left. There's a couple of those. See, here's some more short grass in the front of that green. You'll notice some of these greens, you can kind of run it up, but there's some bunkering too. All right. There are 30, let's talk about around the green since I brought that up. There are 33 greenside traps, okay? 33 greenside traps. And I think they're going to play a factor. Now, they don't look overly difficult. These aren't like open championship bunkers. They're not, the sand is pure AF. It looks like Augusta National sand. But you're going to be in the bunkers. You might see that pop up here in the model inputs in just a second. But there's also, like I said, a good mix of short grass and thick rough around the greens. You see some thick rough here, but some short grass in front. Maybe allowing players, I don't know, to bound the ball up there if necessary. If hacking it out of the rough, you might could do that in a couple of these spots. This is an interesting hole, the par 5 7th. It's kind of reminiscent of like a Bay Hill hole where like the further you aim left, the further the carry has to be, but the shorter your second shot. Kind of an interesting hole. I am dropping a hole by hole big time reconnaissance. I already did, actually. I put it in the research thread in the Tour Junkies Discord. If you're not a member in there, you're missing out a lot this week. There's actually a landing area to the left of that pond that some guys may go to, and it could cut off some 50 yards into the approach. Very reminiscent of a hole at Bay Hill. There's some interesting holes out here, some fun architectural designs to Valhalla. Don't let anybody tell you Valhalla is like lame. I mean, it's not the best, but it's not lame, okay? In terms of these greens, the putting greens, they're bent grass. They are fast. They are pure. I mentioned they play kind of small. Here's the thing. Talking to the folks behind the scenes at Bet the Number, who analyze golf courses for a dozen of the best players in the world, including a guy who's in the top 5, okay? These guys have worked on staff with the Ryder Cup, the U.S. Ryder Cup, and they analyze these golf courses every single week on tour, all the majors, and they've already been to Valhalla. And I was asking about the greens. And if you look at the Bet the Number model, this is a tip, okay? For those of you who are watching this show, this is a tip. Every week, you should start your model. If you want to be this person like me, where you like build your own model because you can't keep your grimy hands off you have to be in control, and you just can't trust it. Bet the Number will put out their own model on betthenumbergolf.com. They will put out their own model based on what those fine folks know, okay? And they know a lot. They will leave out a bunch of stuff. It's not going to be the super complex model, okay? They know what to leave out, what to keep in. But they will build their own model and then build off of that. But pay close attention because they can give you some indicators. One of the indicators in the Bet the Number model that is already up for the PGA Championship is you won't notice any comp greens. You won't notice it being filtered to bent grass. You won't notice it being filtered to greens similar. Oh, look, we get an ad. Similar to, yes, I don't pay ad free. I need more people to join the Discord for me to pay ad free. Okay. You don't, it's not filtered. People are going to be like, whoa, the strokes gained putting number is not filtered to bent. Okay. And so I was that guy, and I asked the folks behind the scenes at Bet the Number. In fact, I asked the smartest guy behind the scenes at Bet the Number that does it for a living. I said, why not? He said, buddy, these greens are pure. When it comes to pure bent, doesn't matter. If you can putt well on Bermuda or you can putt well on POA, doesn't matter. To putt well on POA, you tend to see guys that die the ball in the hole. To putt well on Bermuda, you tend to see guys who understand grain and are comfortable on grain. Don't care. As long as you're putting well, it will go where you think it's going to go. If you hit your line, you hit your speed, the pure bent is going to do you just fine. That's why they haven't filtered it. And that's why they don't suggest you filter it. So if you go and create your own model, take a cue off of what the Bet the Number model is doing or not doing, because everyone else in the industry is going to be doing it. Everyone else in the industry is going to be filtering to bent grass. And I get it. We've been doing that for years until we met people smarter than us. So there you go. So that's basically the putting surfaces. You notice on the approach, we're kind of working backwards here. You're going to deal with those 33 greenside bunkers. The way I looked at it, water is in play on 4-ish approach shots. You do have the Zoysia lies. If you're in the fairway, Zoysia sits the ball up perfect. So you're going to get a lot of spin on the ball. You're going to be able to control your distances best in the fairway. Obviously, that's going to be important. but their Zoysia fairways are going to set up nicely. The rough is pretty healthy, though, right now. That's what we hear from reports from folks who've just been on site at Valhalla. We hear that the rough is healthy. It's already healthy. The key yardages, and again, I pulled this from the Bet the Number model, is 175 to 250 yards, and you just need to hit your greens in regulation. That's what you got to do. Hit your greens in reg, people. All right? Off the tee, not a ton of out of bounds. There's not a ton of out of bounds. There is some. Some holes, you got wide open. Absolutely wide open. Others, you have tree trouble. You have water in play for what I count to be around 6 tee shots. It might actually be 5. I think you need to be long. I think you do. They have added 4 new tee boxes since 2014 for the purpose of adding length. And again, reminder, very little run out in this Zoysia, even if it's dry. So it is a lot of carry. You're going to see that in my model here in just a minute. I think the winning score is likely to be 8 to 10 under. Weather dependent. It's going to play long. You're going to have to chip from the bunker, the thick rough. I think that's going to be the most challenging stuff. I think if you're in the fairway, you're in that Zoysia grass that's sitting up, you should be able to chip it easily. It's not like chipping off grainy Bermuda. So if you're going to leave yourself a chip and miss, you better hope it's in the tight grass. I think that's actually going to be easier. I don't think it's the same kind of tight grass as like Southern Hills or Oak Hill. I could be wrong, but I don't think it is. Obviously, with any major where the winning score is 8 to 10 under, conservative and aggressive at the appropriate times is important. Bogey avoidance is going to be important. Patience, grinding, ball striking. That is the key. Those are the keys to a lot of majors, and especially majors that have a high level of difficulty. So that's really my overview course notes. I've got a lot more detailed course notes, hole by hole, in the Discord. As we look at the 18th hole to close out this video, this is going to be a fun hole to watch at the end. The 18th is a par 5, 570 yards, dog leg right, water on the right. I believe Rory went out of bounds here, but he had enough lead. You got that trap there on the left. The approach here is pretty open. Like, there's not a whole lot of bad places, I guess. You have those 2 greenside traps. You do have short grass. You could run the ball up if you had a longer club. You just might not want to find yourself on one of those slopes in the gnarly thick stuff. I can imagine if you get hung up in that edge on the bunker, that could not be fun. But that is the overview of Valhalla and a little visual there. Hope you enjoyed that. Now, before I share my screen on Bet the Number, we take a look at the weather. In 2014, like I said, Rory won. Other notables. Phil was runner-up. He'll be here this week. These are notables who will be in the field this week. Ricky Fowler finished 3rd. Adam Scott, Jason Day, and Brooks Koepka. Yes, Brooks Koepka in 2014 was here. All finished T15. Hideki finished T35. Brian Harmon, T40. Shane Lowry, T46. And Billy Horschel, T58. Just a few notable names of guys who played here in 2014. Does that really matter? No, probably not. But I just want to tell you, Akshay Bhatia won the 2018 Junior PGA here at Valhalla with rounds of 68, 76, 65, and 68. Little Akshay. He was as big around as this microphone thing right here. I mean, he was, god dang, if it would have been windy, we'd have never seen him again. He'd never have made it to the PGA Tour. Thank God it wasn't a windy week. But Akshay won your 2018 Junior PGA. Okay. I think I got most of that stuff out of the way now. Before I share my screen and look at the number on Bet the Model, again, don't forget, comment for the $100 online gift card to Swannies that you can use on anything you want. Swannies.co, link in the description, get you one of these. You just have to comment on any and every Tour Junkies PGA Championship video on YouTube this week. If you're listening on the podcast audio right now, go to the YouTube and make a comment, okay? Hit the like button, subscribe while you're at it. It helps the channel. It helps us. It's free. It's easy, and you might win a $100 Swannies gift card. There you go. Bing bong. Also, do want to let everybody know that when I start to share my screen, it is going to be courtesy of our friends at Bet the Number. Use code TJ to get $5 off the monthly or $50 off the annual subscriptions. PGA Tour licensed data coming in live and automatically from the PGA Tour. Love it. The guys behind the scenes at Bet the Number, I've already talked about. They're brilliant. If you don't like crunching the numbers yourself, but you need help because your bets and your DFS teams and all that suck, Bet the Number does a model for you, and then you can just go off their own model. So it makes it really, really easy. But if you want to do it yourself, Bet the Number lets you do it, okay? All the stats that you want, that you actually need, and all the stats that you don't need, they've thrown out, okay? There's a lot of bad stats that people use on a weekly basis. I will say that. But our friends at betthenoumbergolf.com, the link is in the description. Click that, check it out. If you're a paying member of the Tour Junkies Discord premium membership, you can DM myself and Pat. I got a bunch of DMs last week. You can DM myself or Pat and say, hey, hit me with a unique TJ Discord promo code for Bet the Number, and you get the biggest discount available on the internet or in space, okay, in outer space. There's literally not a bigger discount for Bet the Number, except for someone who is a paying member of the Tour Junkies Discord who DMs me and Pat. Me or Pat, sorry. Probably just DM me. Don't DM Pat. Okay, that's that. Let's get to it. All right, I do want to look at the weather. Let's look at the weather just to have an idea of potentially how this thing could shake out or could lead up to as we get closer to time here. All right. I will tell you that the closest weather on Windfinder, the signal is Bowman Field. I've already looked at that. Here's the zoomed out kind of forecast. I'm recording this on Friday evening. No rain Saturday, no rain Sunday. Here comes the rain Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday looks like not good. There have been a bunch of guys who've already made some scouting trips ahead of time to Valhalla. Going to be interesting to take note of who's already done that, who has not. But you're going to need caddies who are going to get out there and learn this golf course, and they all will. I think it'll help to have data guys like some of the guys behind the scenes at Bet the Number who have already scouted this place and understand what it's going to take, because if Tuesday looks like this, you're going to have quite the washout. And it might be a tough practice day. Wednesday looks a little clearer, but I say this to say, like, we're going to get some rain right up before this golf tournament, and I think it's going to soften the place up. Thursday looks perfect. Okay. Temps in the 60s, 70s. Looks perfect. No rain, but of course, all this could change quickly, and then more rain coming the rest of the week. Like, I think we're going to have a softer golf course, plus the Zoysia fairways that don't run out anyway. Okay. I don't know if Valhalla has sub-air under their greens. I can find out. I'll let people know in the Discord, but I don't know for sure. If they do, they can dry out their greens plenty. And I'm sure they're preparing for it anyway. Greens will probably still be firm, but you're going to have some soft fairways. Not a lot of run out. Okay. That's going to be important. Okay. So the weather looks a little wet. Could change. Hopefully will. Let me share my screen on Bet the Number, and let's look at my custom model. I'm going to show you mine and not Bet the Number's custom model, because I can tell you that mine is I'm way more of a control freak, and I just added more stuff. That's just who it is what it is. Okay. I didn't say I was a brilliant expert. I'm just giving you content. Okay. That's what I'm doing. So get off me. Here is my model on Bet the Number. Okay. If you don't know how to do this, when you go to the custom model page, if you click the drop down and you scroll past my models, like your models, you'll come to everyone sees BTN models, and you can click on the BTN 2024 PGA model. And then you'll click on the filters, and it'll show you what they've got filtered. Okay. So I'm going to leave it here for now. I'm going to leave it on mine. And I'm just going to quickly show you, if you click this column settings, these are your filters. Okay. Off the tee, driving accuracy, ball speed. We'll go over some of these. But this is what you would go to look at on Bet the Number to say, like, for example, on the putting, you'd be like, oh, wow, it's not filtered by course. That's interesting. I wonder why not. Okay. I talked about it with the bent grass putting. Excuse me. Okay. So I'm going to click out of that because we don't have time to do all of this. So I have filtered this by model score, and I'm only showing my favorites right now. And the favorites are only favorites for the sake of this video. I favorited them because they are interesting names to look at for purposes of this video. We're not going to go through all these names, but that is why they're all starred. Okay. Just for ease. I've got event history turned on here, which is the PGA Championship history. You can click on a player profile and go see how they've done in majors only. You can click and see that. And then here's your last 5. Now, again, your last 5 weeks on tour. Now, again, I am doing this on Friday evening after round 2 at Wells Fargo and Myrtle Beach, and these are live numbers. So as of now, Xander is winning the Wells Fargo. I hope he doesn't, but he is. So for right now, he may show 1. If you're like, DB, he didn't finish 1. He finished number 2. Well, okay, I'm recording this live on Friday, and Bet the Number updates it live. Okay, so chill. But let's talk about the model inputs. I like to organize my model. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit here. I just want to zoom in. I just want to focus on this part here. Does that help? Yeah, that helps. Okay. I just want to focus on this part. I like to organize my model from off the tee, approach, around the green, putting, and then extra stuff. Okay. And I love that you can label it literally almost anything you want. Okay. And that's what I do. So I have last 30 strokes in off the tee. Now you're not going to see the weights here. I've got these weighted, and I may change these. And actually, I should have prefaced this too. The folks at Bet the Number have told me that they will possibly be tweaking the model based on weather, and they will be out there on Monday. So based on weather and what they see, look for tweaks. So before you commit, might be a good idea to go back and check the Bet the Number model, refresh the model page to see if they've made any changes to the model inputs. Okay, that's important. I may do the same thing, but currently this is what I have. Off the tee, last 30 rounds, driving accuracy and ball speed, I want to see it. Okay, I know strokes gained off the tee combines distance and accuracy. I don't like the driving distance stat. I like the ball speed stat better. And I also want to see this side by side. Visually, I like seeing it side by side because a guy can be, you know, there's a lot of extreme examples like Wyndham Clark is 10th off the tee, but dang it, he's horribly inaccurate. He's getting all of this because he's third in ball speed. And I want to see how unbalanced or balanced it is and let that visually inform my decision. Okay. So I have ball speed in here. I have carry distance. So I actually have 4 driving statistics here. And I've weighted them what I think appropriately. But I'm looking at carry distance because, as I mentioned, Zoysia fairways, not a lot of rollout when they're dry. When they're wet, really not a lot of rollout. And this is already a long course. I think you're going to have to be long, and I think you're going to have to be able to carry it. Now, when I get a weird stat like this, like carry distance, I like to look at a larger sample size because things can get weird, right? If you go last 30 rounds and maybe a guy didn't play a whole lot of driver heavy courses, or maybe they, I don't know, like they played in weird wind or whatever, you could have a skewed number. So I went last 75 rounds in the carry distance. Okay. Then we move on to approach, and I have 3 categories. Last 30 strokes gained approach straight up. Last 50 zoomed out because this is a very specific range. I did 175 to 230 yards strokes gained from tee, fairway, and the rough. I included all 3 of those, which you can select which surfaces. So I excluded bunkers or other. You can select which ones you want when you set up your column settings and Bet the Number. So from the tee, from the fairway, from the rough, last 50 rounds, but strokes gained 175 to 230, not proximity, strokes gained. Love this. Okay, this is a huge indicator. Last 50 greens and reg, I want to see it. You know, they may be one thing here, but dang it, they hit greens. Okay, and that's what we need. Last 30 around the green. Last 50 sand saves. That's what that is. Bigger sample size because guys aren't in the sand all the time. Last 30 rounds, strokes gained putting, and I did not put a filter on it. I'm believing the folks at Bet the Number. It's just about can they putt. That's it. And putting is highly variance. We know that. I don't have a lot of weight on that relative to all these other categories. Last 50, no bogeys. That's what I call it. Bogey avoidance is the stat. So let's zoom out again. Last 50 rounds, bogey avoidance. Now, this one, tee to green major comps. This is just me. Okay, this is just me. This is a special freebie DB stat. Okay. The courses that I selected, I believe I selected 12. Let me look here. Yes, I selected 12 courses. I'm not going to give all the milk away. Okay. Hit me up in the Discord. But I did last 24 rounds, selected to 12 courses that I consider to be major championship comps. Not all of them are major courses, but I think they're major comps. And then there are other courses that I excluded. Open championship courses, I excluded. I'll just go ahead and I'll give you that bonus. Included Augusta National, and then picked and choose some PGA and US Open venues. Picked and choose some regular tour event venues. And I'm giving myself major comps, tee to green, in this category. So how well do they do tee to green on those difficult, good field, low winning score, challenging kind of holes? So, all right, I'm going to leave it zoomed in here. Just talking through some names, and then we will get out of here. Hope you've enjoyed the video so far. If you have, please like, comment for the $100 Swannies gift card. Subscribe if you haven't already. And do check out Bet the Number. I'm telling you. Give it a try this week. If you sign up and you do the month, which is the lowest possible deal, the first week, the first 7 days is free. First 7 days is free with any promo code, any sign up. The first 7 days is free, and you can cancel at any time, no problems. Give it a shot. Promise you won't regret it. It's easy to use. It's clean. The data's good, straight from PGA Tour ShotLink. And the guys behind the scenes about the number are sharp, and they're updating it all the time. Give it a shot. All right. So let's just talk through some of these just quickly here. You had Hideki withdrawal from Hideki withdrawal from the Wells Fargo. Waste is past PGA Championship performance is just solid the last 5 years, but he's been playing really well lately. But then he has this neck back withdrawal. Here we go. Good Lord, what do we do with Hideki? Probably why he's 50-1, despite checking plenty of boxes, having a win earlier this year at the Genesis, which is a tough course, strong field. What are we going to do with Hideki? Then you had Ludwig withdrawal with a knee injury. We will probably know a lot about Ludwig, and we'll do our best to share it in the Discord. I think Ludwig's probably fine, and I also think Ludwig could win this dang thing. Xander rolling right now, cruising at the Wells Fargo, but can he win a major? I don't know. I don't know if you can see because my box is really small here, but my eyes were darting back and forth as if to say, suspicious. Alex Noren checking tons of boxes, playing well right now. 33rd at Wells Fargo. Cam Young, everybody's waiting to break out. The dude's played really well in majors. Dang it. Luke List, 9.4 rating in my model, 13th ranked. Obviously, it's going to have a lot to do with this number. These numbers here to the left, not so much these numbers to the right. But Luke, not a bad player. 6th in 2019 at the PGA, has made every cut the last 3 years at the PGA. I mean, the good thing about an 8 to 10 under winning score, if that's what you believe is going to happen, is Luke doesn't have to make everything. Wyndham Clark, not playing great at Wells Fargo, but guy's been a killer the last 12 months. We'll see. John Rahm hasn't won yet on LIV, but I think doesn't really matter. I think John Rahm is now basically Brooks Koepka, who's right next to him here, and he just wants to win majors. So now you do need to know about the number that these numbers are not pulling in LIV numbers. The Bet the Number team is already in the works with LIV and has access to LIV data, but the data is not perfect. It's not clean right now. In fact, nobody has it cleaned up right now. Wouldn't trust it if you saw it necessarily. So this is pulling from PGA and major championship data, which is going to skew things a little bit. You do need to know that. Tom Hoagie's obviously playing well. I think this is too long of a course for Hoagie. I'm out. Keith Mitchell, great course for him. You guys know I have a problem with Keith Mitchell, meaning like I have a put it in my veins problem with Keith Mitchell. I can't stop playing the dang dude. So there's that. Let me move through this quickly. Let's go to the bottom. Minwoo, is Minwoo going to cook, right? Checks a lot of boxes here to the left, not so many here in the middle and the right. Taylor Moore is playing really well right now. I sneaky like that little Taylor Moore son of a gun. Finished T72 last year, but he is playing really well right now. Currently T4 at the Wells Fargo. Straka loves him some hard courses. JT won the PGA Southern Hills 2 years ago. Thanks to Mito. He said it in the full swing. He's currently T13 at Wells Fargo. Could he be back? Could he be showing signs of life? I don't know. So is Jordan Spieth playing well. He's T20 at Wells Fargo. I don't know. Adam Scott has some experience here, been hitting it solid. I feel like Adam Scott's floor is actually pretty high here. You got Talor Gooch talking a bunch of trash, gets his exemption into this thing. I don't know. I don't know if I like Talor here. I kind of want him to hit it further, honestly. Will Zalatoris withdrew from the Byron Nelson, citing the neck and back or whatever it is. But, I don't think you want to play the Byron Nelson. Who could blame him? But has a runner-up and an 8th at his only 2 PGA championships. PGA Championships and U.S. Open set up so good for Will Zalatoris, but there might be some inherent risk there. Patrick Cantlay not looking like himself. Don't know if I want it. Actually, I don't. I'll tell you right now. Bonus. I don't want to play Patrick Cantlay. I don't care what he does at Wells Fargo the next 2 rounds. Don't want to play him. Been on very intriguing numbers. These numbers specifically, these approach numbers are nice. He's made cuts at PGA Championships, plenty of major championship experience. You got Bryson. Seems like a great course fit for Bryson. It really does. T4 in 2 out of the last 3 PGA Championships. Just seems like a great spot for him. Akshay, your 2018 junior PGA champ here at 100-1, 33rd in my model. Rory, what's Rory going to do, huh? Is he going to defend? Will he defend? Remains to be seen, people. And that's it for me. That is the course preview, course breakdown. We will have the betting show. We'll have the DFS show. I'm going to do a live underdog best ball draft. You're not going to want to miss that. We'll obviously have tons of content all week in the Discord. Wednesday night live chat in the Discord with our friend Joe Idoni from Tour Picks. The 2 emails are going out. All of this, you can click the links in the video or the podcast to subscribe or check it out. It's all there. We need all the support we can get. Major championship weeks are big for us. So if you're a Tour Junkies fan, be a fan this week. Even if you don't listen every week, be a fan. Support the shows. Subscribe to the emails. Tell people about it. Retweet, share, all that stuff. It just, every little bit helps, and we appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great week. May your screens be green and bend over your bookies. See ya.